Hello everybody, welcome to Cyberlock Entertainment and welcome to ranking every level in LEGO Harry Potter years 5 to 7 worst to best. Now I'm actually going to try something different here where I'm making it just one long video instead of splitting it into parts. Let me know if you prefer that or if you don't. And with that said, let's just get on with the list with the worst. So starting with the worst, at number 24 is Creature Discomfort, and I just thought this was a really filler level. One major problem I had with the game is actually the choice of levels. I thought some scenes didn't need to be levels and they missed out some important things that could have been levels, and this is one of them. I thought this is just such a filler thing to just go around looking for Creature, and it's almost like tidying up and stuff. I just found a lot of the puzzles to be really boring or just not creative at all. It was very like this puzzle we've done from years 1-4 for so long, and they didn't improve at all in this level and anything. It just felt like a really filler level, really. And number 23 is Just Desserts, and this is another just weird filler type level to me. Like, you have to give Slughorn butterbeer and then you go into his like place and tidy up. A lot of this game, or the start of this game, was just a lot of tidying up puzzles, like cleaning up. It's really weird, very strange actually. And this one is just not anything creative again. It's slightly better than the other one, just because you're in a better location in my opinion, but it's really similar. And it's just a really boring one. Like, it's just puzzles, and they're not smart puzzles or interesting puzzles. And number 22 is the 7 Harrys, and this is such a missed opportunity for a level. This is what I'm talking about, where they didn't choose the level ideas right, because this is meant to be obviously the flight over Privet Drive with all the Death Eaters fighting in that, but you literally just start out making a potion, the Polyjuice potion, so it does make sense. But it's right afterwards, when you actually take to the skies, they don't let you play any of the cool battle that's going on. You just watch it in a cutscene. It's just such a missed opportunity for a level. You do get to do a small chase scene. It literally lasts like 20 seconds though when you're on the bike, and there isn't really much threat or anything because you can't really die. Like, even if you hit into the cars, it doesn't hurt you or anything, so you're just kind of on rails section driving instead of flying like you should be. But I just really put this level here just because it really annoyed me. I was looking forward to having the big fight, the 7 Harrys, but it was just a missed opportunity in a weird level. And then it also drags on too long for a level, in my opinion, where they actually go into the wedding scene, which could have been its own level, but they just included it in this one, and it's just such a odd thing to me because you use the water spell you learned. You put out fire, but you can't put out the big fire unless you put it in a small container, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever. And then there's a weird thing where Bellatrix pops out a cake. I was just confused at this point, kind of sad. And at number 21 is Dark Times, and I thought it's a good starting level, sure, but it does drag on too long again, where it starts off where you're in the park with Dudley and that was fine, you know, it's simple learning the game again. So the park bit's fine, and the next bit's really good, but I kind of put it here just because it's the only time you really get to do a flying broomstick thing. So again, it just hurts because I wanted the Battle of the 7 Harrys to have flying, and maybe even Quidditch. There was no Quidditch in this game again, that was just tragic, but you do get a flying broomstick. It's alright, it's pretty cool, I wish they did it more. It's afterwards where I'm just like, this level gets a bit tiring, where you've got to find all the Order members because they're all like crashed and like stuck in stuff. It was just, again, it could have just ended a bit sooner. And at number 20 is the level Focus, and this was an interesting idea where you're going through Harry's memories in the past and that, but I played this co-op, and it is so bad for co-op, because the co-op partner really can't do anything but the memory spell. And once they've done the memory spell, they can't actually interact with anything. It's very, like, unfortunate, because it's such a cool idea. And number 19 is a Giant Virtuoso. I think I said that right, probably didn't, but this starts when you're in Umbridge's office, and there's a semi-clever cat puzzle. But then it goes back to, obviously, the forest, which, obviously, the scene had to be in the forest, but God, so many forest levels by now that I've played in these LEGO Harry Potter games that you're just really tired of it, and it wasn't even that great one. There was a mechanic where you're trying to get the giant or Hagrid's half-brother to follow you with the bell, but at this point you've already done all this kind of stuff before and you've gone through a full game of it, that this just isn't special or unique in any way. It's kind of forgettable. At number 18 is Felix Felicis, and this is another prime example of they didn't know what to do with Order of the Phoenix or Half-Blood Prince levels, because this was so out of place. It was like a herbology fight, and it just doesn't, I don't even remember this in the movies or the books, so it was just weird to do. And then once you fought this massive plant creature, it then goes into Aragog's death, where you've got to pump out the venom out of him, which was a 5-second scene in the movie. In this, they extended it into this big, long, like, puzzles, and it's just like, yeah, not the best at all, in my opinion. Number 17 is Love Hurt, and this was a weird one again. It feels like 2 levels mixed into one. So it starts with Slughorn's place again, and Ron's got a love potion or whatever, and you've got to help him, but you accidentally poison him, or he drinks a poison thing. You've got to help the poison again. It's more cleaning up puzzles, which this game had an absurd amount of. And then the second part of the level is a lot better, where it's the Malfoy fight in the bathrooms. I did enjoy this part of the level more. It's just that start cleanup type thing that a lot of these levels have. It seems like they could split a lot of levels up. Instead of just having 6 per movie, have 8 maybe. But the battle with Malfoy was pretty fun, but one thing that was really annoying is when you're playing this co-op, the co-op partner can't fight Malfoy. I know that makes sense, but in a co-op game, as this is meant to be, you should allow the co-op partner to do more than just have to wait and watch the same duel go over 3 times, so very disappointing. They actually made it better in Deathly Hallows. It seems like they really just paid more attention to Deathly Hallows part of this game. And number 16 is Out of Retirement. I think this is where the levels started to get better now, because it's the same cleanup type puzzle thing, but it was in more unique and cool locations. This one was actually in Slughorn's like home and the little town he's in beside him, and it's really nice to see that, because it's a unique location you haven't actually been to in any other games, which was nice. So again, it is the normal puzzles again, but you gotta ride a small vehicle around. There's a bit more fun stuff to do. There's a lot more co-op aspects of it, which I enjoyed. Magic is Might starts off with the fight in the little cafe. The fight, I didn't like the bosses in this game that much. There was some okay ones, but this one again is wait for them to throw something at you, use Wingardium Leviosa, spin it around and chuck it at them. It's used way too much in my opinion, but there's this fight against 2 of them. At least the co-op partner can do something in this fight compared to the other ones. But the better part of this level is actually when you're going into the Ministry of Magic and you get to do all the puzzles in there. And at number 14 is Back to School, and this starts out in Hogsmeade, but it's definitely different from Hogsmeade. You've been in, it's all dark and there's deputies everywhere. You've got to beat them all, and you eventually go for the painting and you get back into where all the Hogwarts students are hiding out, which is really cool and all to see how they were adapting during all the Death Eaters taking over Hogwarts. But you've got to obviously help them wake up. And at number 13 is Dumbledores Army, and again this was a really long level. Pretty good though, because it's 2 cool locations. Again, it feels like it could have been split into 2, that's just most of the game really. But you start in the forest. It's probably the best forest section in the game, if I can remember there's any others. I don't think there is, but it's way better than the Dolores Umbridge one. There's just these weird mushroom enemies that chase you and stuff, and there's more. There was actually toxic waste, which is interesting to see in Harry Potter. It gives me flashbacks to Lego Batman. Not good flashbacks, but still flashbacks. But yeah, the main part of the level was actually Hogsmeade, of course. It's probably one of the best locations in Harry Potter, in my opinion. And there is some really fun puzzles here, where you've got to get across a frozen lake by rolling a snowball and dig up stuff. But the main point of this level is just trying to recruit everyone for Dumbledore's Army. So you want to find all the objects for the various members. It's just a fun, decent level. At number 12 is Not So Merry Christmas, and this is where I started to enjoy the game a lot more. Again, it starts with a clean-up puzzle. You literally have to put away Arthur Weasley's laundry in a shed, but Afterwards, Death Eater's attack, there's fire everywhere, you get to play as Lupin and turn into a werewolf and do unique werewolf type puzzles. Use the water spell, they really loved making you use that water spell, so like half the puzzles, but at least at this point it was fun to use because it was kind of new. And at number 11 is In Grave Danger, and this level is more a unique one because you actually have to find the right grave, and it does take a bit to actually find the right grave because you gotta do puzzles for each grave, and if it's not the right one you obviously won't get it, but I thought that was just a more unique gameplay mechanic that I enjoyed. And then there is of course the fight with the giant snake, because Nagini does jump out and literally break through the wall, which is cool and all, but again, they love that Wingardium Leviosa mechanic in this game to beat bosses. The snake, Nagini, does shoot out poison, attack you. It is a nice setting again. Another good level. And at number 10 is Sword and Locket, and I enjoyed this level because one of my favourite levels in the first one, Years Wonderful, was actually the lake level. So they brought back the underwater mechanic, which I really liked here, but it was a bit shorter than that one, and it wasn't the full thing. So you go underwater, do similar puzzles to actually the Black Lake. Now I remember it with the crab and that, so it was kind of a bit of a copy and paste thing, but it was a fun one at least. And the best part of this level was definitely the boss fight at the end, but it's the Voldemort Horcrux. And there's the naked Harry and Hermione that come out and slowly walk towards you, you gotta push them back, and a big black tornadoes coming at you. It was just a very unique boss fight, and I really enjoyed it. And number 9 is a Veiled Threat. This is the last Order of the Phoenix level, and the only really underneath the Ministry of Magic with all the prophecies and this whole dark and stuff. You gotta do a small bit of puzzles. Then all hell breaks loose, all the prophecies come falling down, and you gotta run away from it. Really fun. Chase level is always a highlight in LEGO games. It was one of the funnest levels. And then obviously you gotta rescue all your friends because they were caught by Death Eaters, so you gotta do the puzzles, attack them. And you get in a small duel, which is always fun. Best part of this is definitely the Dumbledore vs Voldemort fight. I thought it's such a great co-op boss fight where one of you has to shield the glass shards and attack back. It's just really unique and fun boss fight. And unfortunately, they don't really make boss fights as good as this one. There is one against Voldemort. I think it's the last one that might be semi-good as this one. That might be just as good as this one. Maybe that's better, maybe this one's better. It's hard to say. They're both good ones, but after that, the boss fights in the game, there wasn't really many fantastic ones, in my opinion. But this one's definitely a standout. Great co-op one. Really, really good level. Tons of fun in it. And at number 8 is Fiend Fire Frenzy, and this is a really good platforming level. If you fall, the fire will kill you, and it is one of the only levels in the game where you get a fly and a boomstick. This was my biggest complaint, or one of my biggest complaints to Years Wonderful, and they did not fix it at all in Years 5 to 7. I actually think they took more away, but it's nice that it was in this level. I wish that mechanic was used more in these games. Fortunately, the boomsticks were never really used again. There was one Quidditch area, which it's just an on-rails thing, but this level, it's fun to use it. You use the water spell, obviously, because there's fire everywhere. You even get to fly in a little plane, which was kind of cool. And at number 7 is Darby, and this was a really interesting level because you actually don't have your wand, so you can't use magic, which I really liked because you had to just use puzzles without magic. So it was more creative in that way, and you had to like roll into stuff to knock it down, and you're actually trapped. It's just a really cool idea for a level, and I think they made well use of the scene in the movie. And number 6 is Horcrux in the Hand. And this is one of the best co-op levels, hands down. You're Dumbledore and Harry, you're in the cave looking for the Horcrux. You do a lot of co-op puzzles, and then there's this really cool horde section where Dumbledore has to keep drinking while Harry's fending off against hordes of these undead. Sounds like Walking Dead when I say that, but it's kind of what it is like. You're just holding up the zombies as Dumbledore's drinking. Then there's, of course, Dumbledore's death, and you've got to fight Bellatrix in that. This was a bit disappointing to me because I wish that part was longer. You actually had to go through Hogwarts. It just skips right to the end where you do a duel. I use the duel a lot, but this is a nice little bonus thing, I guess, into the level. Honestly, it would have been just as good without this part. And at number 5 is Burning Bridges. This actually starts with Harry and Luna going through Hogwarts. This is what I wanted from the previous level where you're chasing Death Eaters after Dumbledore's died, but at least you gotta go through Hogwarts in a level. That was one thing that the rest of the game was missing. It was fun to do here, but obviously the main part of the level is the big bridges, so this is just a massive platforming section, which I really liked since there was a bit of a lack of platforming in this game. And this one, you're underneath the bridge is Neville. You've got to put all the bombs on. It's a very simple concept, but the platforming was fun, and it just reminded me of old LEGO games that I previously played. And number 4 is the Thief's Downfall, and this is where you're breaking into Gringotts. So it starts with the actual on-rails, I guess, section where you're riding through the mines. It's very similar to the Indiana Jones one, a bit easier. But the main part is obviously the dragon. The dragon was the best part of this level. You got to actually control it or ride it and just destroy everything. There's a small fight against the goblins where you got to kill them. Really fun. There's also obviously the vault where if you touch stuff it will multiply. That was really fun puzzles. Just definitely where they started to get more creative in the game was Deathly Hallows. And at number 3 is the Flaw in the Plan. This is the final level and the final fight against Voldemort and Bellatrix. So this starts up on the walkways and you're fighting tons of Death Eaters and you do the final duel with Bellatrix. This was just really a simple duel, but again, it's nice to finally beat Bellatrix for once because she's kind of the main antagonist of this game more than Voldemort actually. There's way more fights with Bellatrix, but you beat her. And then you go down into the ground. This is where the level really, really gets good. So obviously Harry and Voldemort are fighting in the background and you've got to kill Nagini. There's tons of Death Eaters coming and then the spiders coming and then you see the fights behind you. It's just chaos everywhere. Neville's running around with the Sword of Gryffindor. Cinematically, it's a great level. Again, you pick up the spiders and spin it and chuck it to do it, but then you do, like slash the snakes, so that was fun. And then obviously Harry and Voldemort are having their duel in the background. Just a good co-op one, because you both got to do something, and you got to switch characters a lot. And at number 2 is Snape's Tears. This is the Battle of Hogwarts level. It's obviously going to be a good one, just hands down. It was always going to be a good one. If they messed up Battle of Hogwarts, then that would have been bad. But they did it well here. You fight the giants, you fight the Death Eaters. Everything's in chaos, everything's exploding around you. You actually get to go through Hogwarts in a level again, which was always fun, but it's actually like a part of Hogwarts you wouldn't ever get to go to, where it's kind of like the outside, but it's kind of the top. It's an interesting location that you don't get to really go to in free play, I believe. So at number 1 is Lovegood's Lunacy. So you start at Luna Lovegood's house. You solve a bit of puzzles, and then you actually got to try and find us a lot of fake Luna Lovegoods that have been put around. But the best part of this level is definitely when you get to the Deathly Hallows story, because this could have been its own game. It was that interesting. But stylistically and just looks-wise, the level looks incredible. It looks just like a storybook. Such a beautiful level. But the gameplay here is really where it shines, because it's the most unique gameplay in the game. So you've got the 3 brothers, they've all got the Resurrection Stone, the Cloak of Invisibility and the Elder Wand, and there's actually specific puzzles that you need to do. A thing can only be exploded by the Elder Wand, and you need to use the Resurrection Stone to control the bride and make her do the puzzles. And then you've got to sneak through with the Invisibility Cloak to avoid death. It was just such a fun level, great length as well. It wasn't too long, wasn't too short. I really liked using these mechanics. It felt like I was playing like an indie platformer or something. Death itself was really intimidating. He would just like one-hit you with that scythe. But definitely just the most unique and fun level in the game. So that was my ranking of LEGO Harry Potter Years 5 to 7 was the best. I hope you enjoyed it. Currently going through LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, but we've got tons more videos coming soon. We've got more LEGO, more gameplay, more VR, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, it's been Cyberlock Entertainment.